Hi everyone, welcome to the quick learn video. In today's topic, I would like to discuss on how we can do effectively the lookups that we do on day to day as a financial analyst. So I have jotted down some of the problem areas that we face on day to day basis. So we would want to look up various tables in different workbooks, and it is a very tedious job because you will have to look various columns and determine which are the columns from which workbook, and you have to toggle between various workbooks to do this activity. And second problem that we would generally keep facing is that the column references keep changing. Suppose like you say that this month you have a particular set of data. So like for example, I would like to take a data of sales for department A in the month of September 21. So yeah, here you go. So there are order IDs, product, quantities, price, order date, and purchases. So there could be addition of columns every month, and there could be changes in the report attributes. So you want to keep your model very adaptive. And doing VLOOKUPs, because you put a certain formula and do that, the formula would not hold same for the next time. And generally, when you are doing the lookups in the Excel sheet, if the data is going very high, I mean to say more than 1 lakh rows, or say even 50,000 rows, with the bulkiness of the data, your Excel can't handle it, and also it would lead to the Excel crash outs. So like as I told, this particular data set too has a good amount of data, but not okay, it's say it has only 11,000 rows, and it is little unorganized. It is having headers, it is having blank rows between. So this is little unorganized data that we have taken for the study purpose. And we want to eliminate the cleaning process. As I showed you just now, the file that I have just shown you, it had lots of inconsistent data. I mean to say there were middle blank rows here and there, and also like there is a need to clean the data. There could be a need to clean the data further. So you want to eliminate the cleaning process, and you want to be more productive and more adaptive to the management. So because management keeps coming to you asking for various requirements on your on the reports, right? So that they can take quick decisions and help in better productivity and efficiencies. So on a normal day-to-day activity, suppose if you have 10 different files and 10 different places to do a VLOOKUPs and various things, and organize your files, it will be a very tedious task. So although VBA has its own capabilities, in today's world, since we are moving to the data science and analyzing big data, it is more easy to work, do the lookups, or do something like index match related stuff in using pandas, I mean to say using Python very easily. So let me show you how quickly we can do this, achieve it in Python. So I have installed Jupyter Notebook in my system. So let me open it. As it opens, so it would populate like this. So for the sake of time, I had just worked on a project just now, 14 minutes back. So this project can be accessed at one window. So this is a very easy front face how you can work on day-to-day activities. So just like I have popped up my this thing. So a few days back I had done some financial analysis. So I have all the analysis done here, interpretations and all. So this is a very easy place to keep it open. So once you open this Jupyter notebook, you'll be able to access all your Python files. So the project that I am currently referring, it has been titled as this one. I would go here and rename it to VLOOKUP. Rename. So that's that easy to rename the program. So in this the program, in this small exercise, what we want to achieve, I would like to state it. So I have kept 3 files here. One is sales department Excel sheet, Excel workbook, which has various columns related to the sales, the order ID, product, quantity, quantity ordered, price, order date, and purchase address. So let me keep it more aligned. Yeah. So in workbook 2, what is required is, like, let me say your manager comes and asks what are the addresses for the order IDs, what are the addresses to be dispatched the products to. Okay, so initially your requirement was very one thing. So like normally what we would do is that we would go and do a VLOOKUP based upon the product ID and get the purchase address. So this would be the normal way of doing the lookups, but today we are doing it little differently. But we want the lookup to be done in a different, altogether different set of workbook, which is a output workbook. Currently it is a blank workbook, so nothing is there. It's a blank workbook. You can see it over here. Yep. So we want to get all our the lookups of order ID and purchase for those specific items that are mentioned in the required workbook to be got into the output workbook. Okay. So let us see how quickly we can do it. Oh, it's open here. Sorry. Okay then. So for anything to do in Python, right, first we need to import the libraries, and these are the famous libraries: pandas, NumPy, and matplotlib. All these 3 libraries are very important for any financial analyst. In this project, as I told, I was referring to the 3 workbooks that have been saved in this particular path. So I have taken this path and specified the initial workbook where we have all the data of sales is this one. The second workbook where we have the required thing is this one, and the third workbook is output workbook where I wanted my results to flow into. So now now I'm defining my data frame. Data frame of initial workbook. I'm saying I'm asking the pandas library to read. PD is pandas, right? So I'm asking my pandas library to read through the initial workbook. I mean to say initial workbook is the data workbook. So once it is able to read the data the read command will go through open the file and read through the contents of the file. It is as simple as that. Then I wanted to check like whether the file path has been successfully accessed. If your system is not accessing any particular data, that would immediately throw up an error. Suppose like instead of September, I'll add it as another R. See, there is an error here. because it was not referring to the right file here. So instead, if I remove that, so it would also provide what is the explanation why it was not able to read right over here. So it is very easy to debug the issues in Python than the conventional way. So once we have access, like I wanted to see what are the columns available in both the Excel workbooks, like the workbook where there was a required, which I have named it to the information workbook, and the initial workbook where the data was contained. So this was having the ID and purchase address, okay, and here we have order ID, product, order quantity, and these things. And we can see in this easily we can see that though our order ID is our primary key through which we are looking out for the address, here it has been in the second workbook, it has been given, let me come out here. In the required workbook, it has been given that as a header as ID, not the order ID. So in order to normalize the information, so what I'm doing is that I'm renaming the column header of order ID as ID for a temporary purpose. So like data frame or initial rename column order ID to order ID in place equals to true. Okay. So now once that is been done, now I'm doing the actual important thing of this whole project, that is doing a lookup, or we are trying to merge one column over the other. So like we have this has to be looked up from the different data source, and we have to bring in the purchase addresses, right? So that is what we are trying to establish using this particular line of code. So what this particular line of code is that, so I'm defining a data frame 3 wherein it has to go to the output file. What I'm using the pandas, PD is pandas. I'm asking merge data frame info, right? Info is what I'm looking, right? Where I'm looking at, I'm looking out into the data frame initial based upon the ID. See, because now it is ID, right? So I'm using the ID, and what I want to get, purchase address, right? On what I'm trying to base my lookup. I'm trying to base my lookup on the ID. Based upon the ID here, right? And I want to do a left join. So someone who has studied SQL language, structured query language, they are well aware of left join, right join, union, all those things, right? So now that's what we did, and I'm just giving a print data frame 3, so this particular thing. So now it is able to once I execute. How do we execute in shift and enter? Sorry. So now the system is now Python, this particular code was able to check the IDs on this, and it was able to provide me the address in the for the set of data. Simple. So further, I'm trying to make some more interesting things so that this can be more helpful to learn various things that we come on a day-to-day basis, like cleaning and all. So with that aspect, rename the column header. Now we have something called as purchase address file, but our required thing is that ID and product, right? ID and purchase, right? Okay. So it is very simple. Data frame 3. See, this is a data frame 3. Okay, before that, let me explain you. Okay, there could be a none values, right? None is nothing but null values. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to drop this particular column where it is not required. So I'm saying data frame underscore 3 dot drop column equals to this. So this is that easy, like you can get rid of any column that you don't want. There is another way of getting more things into the okay. Since that is been done, now I'm trying to rephrase this purchase address Y to purchase. What I'm doing, I'm just taking data frame dot rename column equals to purchase address. I'm changing this address to purchase. In place equals to true. So this one we had done similar sort of thing earlier also, where we tried to rename the order ID to order just ID, right? So similar sort of thing that we are trying to do it here. And we once we have done this, this is the output. So finally what I'm trying to do is that I'm trying to remove this index. I don't want these indexes to be there because I have the order IDs, right? So I'm saying index equals to false in this. So I'm copying this whole data into the output workbook. That is our major goal, that we want to transfer whatever is the outcome here. We want to transfer it to the Excel. So that can be achieved using, I have just defined another data frame, like address equals to data frame underscore 3. This is a data frame that I have defined. So I would need ID, purchase, this thing to be copied to this particular workbook, output workbook. And I don't want these indexes here, which is to the left. And I'm asking to be closed. Okay. So now let us go and see. Wow. We have the order ID, we have the purchase, everything is being properly given. This is really interesting. Suppose like my manager comes and tells that you have done a good job, but I would need certain more information. I want to see what is a product ordered and what is the price of each of them. So that can be easily brought into this without doing any further VLOOKUPs. What all you would need is that I would just place this here, comma, separated by, I would also need when was it ordered, what product was ordered, and when was it ordered, right? No, I wanted the price of each of the product, right? So this is that simple. Since I have inserted here these two extra variables that I would need it in my output workbook as well. So I would insert it over here, separated by the comma. So I can rerun the whole code. I will rerun the whole code and see how it looks like. Wow. Now you have the ID, product, price of each ID, and this thing. Has this been transferred to the Excel output file? Let me check it out. Output file. Oh, this is excellent. We were quickly able to, we were quickly able to get all the required details appropriately here with whatever order you would want. So that's in brief how we could do a quick lookups Python using pandas. That's all for this video. Please stay tuned for the further videos that we get in. Thank you.